It's a miracle, baby.
Yeah.
Miracle, miracle, serves. Miracle, miracle, serves. Miracle, miracle, serves. Miracle, miracle, serves.
We keep having all these problems. How we gonna solve them? Every day it's the same thing. All these unsolved issues, I guess it's official. Here we go again, the same old thing. And I'm tired of the arguing and lying. So goodbye.
Good morning, everybody. It's your girl, Miracle Sims, and you're listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. It is July the 10th, 2024, and today the topic is crazy faith. Yes, crazy faith. Happy Wednesday. Yes, happy Wednesday, everybody. I hope you guys had a wonderful day yesterday. Mine was just fine. Yes, mine was good overall, man. Your girl was out and about in the streets yesterday. Yeah, I was in the car quite a bit yesterday, running some errands, meeting up with my cousin later on. So, yeah, man, there was a lot of things, or a lot of out and about-ness yesterday. By the time we got back home, I was pooped, and I just wanted to go to sleep. Hubby got home and stuff like that, and next thing I know, it's the morning time. So that's what my day looked like in a nutshell. I'm just grateful for each and everything that I experienced here today. And yeah, man, that's all I feel led to share. But anywho, yeah, man, good day overall. Today is kind of low key, not too much on the schedule. I was supposed to do an episode of the GSL Talk Show, but that got rescheduled. So outside of having a coaching session with one of my clients, I don't have anything to do in particular after this. So I might do some chores, might get on some chore duty. But anywho, yeah, man. So that's what yesterday and today looks like. But let's talk about this thing, man. Crazy faith. So I listened to the prayer meditation this morning, and that was good, but I felt led to kind of go back to sleep. I ended up listening to some verses. It was Acts I ended up listening to, and I woke up at a few times when I, heard some, I was listening to the Bible being read to me and things like that. But ultimately, once I got back up again and, trying to clear my mind and see what the Lord wanted me to talk about, I was reminded that, I had thought of this phrase, radical faith, before. But when I looked up radical, it didn't fit. It didn't fit what I was feeling or what I guess I wanted to say. So ultimately, as I was going deeper about that, I looked into the word crazy, and that seemed to fit a little bit better with the description of what this takes. So I know that those that listen to me daily or whatever the case may be, you may have heard me say, man, I'm crazy enough to believe what the Bible say, right? I'm crazy enough to, do this or do that, right? But sometimes it don't feel good to, feel like you the crazy one. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it feels, again, weird, and you're like, am I wrong? Am I right? Like, and then when it comes to the things of God and the Bible, I mean, that's a whole nother level, because again, a lot of us are just walking by faith. Now, these biblical figures that we are reading about, I mean, obviously, they was closer to the Lord. They was able to experience Him on a whole nother, in a whole nother way. But for those of us that living in these days and times, I mean, not many of us have seen miraculous things, you know what I mean, outside of, I guess, of life and stuff like that. I mean, we haven't seen, pillars of fire, you know what I'm saying? We haven't seen oceans and seas being split, those miraculous, amazing things that we're reading in the Bible. And those are the things, right, that people like to, quote unquote, use against us, right? They like to use those things like, oh, that didn't happen. That's too, crazy to have happened, and you're crazy for believing it. And they say these phrases like spaghetti monster in the sky, or whatever the case may be, or your sky daddy. And, they say all this stuff and make you feel crazy. But I mean, hopefully today, if you are like me and you're also crazy enough to believe what the Bible has to say, hopefully you'll be encouraged and inspired. If you're not crazy enough to believe, hopefully you will be intrigued enough to, go deeper for yourself and consider these things for yourself. Now, for me, the more I study and the more that I learn over the years, um, I'm just very hesitant to not believe. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, for me, it's like when I read about the things that are to come, and then when I witness things that are happening right now, and I'm like, and I know people have been talking about the end days and end times all the time. I don't know if I necessarily believe it's the end, but I think it's on the way, personally. But hey, that don't have anything to do with, like they say, the tea and the price of tea in China. It doesn't have anything to do with my personal opinion about when the end times is, because the end times could be like right now. You know what I'm saying? God can be like, and I'm back. So I mean, all of us should be ready and waiting. Like those bridegrooms. I'm getting this stuff mixed up right now. But anyway, we should always stay ready, or whatever the case may be. But according to the Bible, and speaking of that, what I was saying is that the more I read the Bible, the more I see and witness things that are happening. I'm like, for me, I'm just very hesitant to not live accordingly, just because it's like, okay, again, my mom said this. It stands out with me. I've been sharing this over the years as well. Even if you want to look at it like, oh, it could not be true, it's like it's a 50-50 chance though. So it's like those are big odds to think that it could not be. In my humble opinion, like that. I mean, if you want to take those chances, by all means. But if you really think about it, okay, if it is true, or for example, if it's not true, then hey, nothing lost, nothing gained. But if it is true, you lost everything to go through your life and act like it's not. I don't know. To me, that's huge. Or even when I think about, again, the different things that are in there telling us, for example, it's better for a person to, be cast into a sea with the millstone than to, make other people or children stumble and things of that nature. Like, it seems like we should take this stuff a little bit more seriously to me. You know what I mean? Like, especially based on, we do see things happen. Again, we may not see what we think is as miraculous as the things I described before. But, I mean, there are plenty of people that have experienced, again, day-to-day miracles, right? Little miracles. Like, I guess I'm here to remind us of, I'm a little miracle, or whatever the case may be. And so, anyway, let's get into these Bible verses I feel led to write down. Even though they are all oldies but goodies, I mean, they ain't nothing new that I'm reading here when it comes to the juice. I mean, I'm sure I've shared these verses over and over and over and over and over again over the years. But I mean, I feel like they fit with this conversation about crazy faith. And then if you want to go deeper about this, you could check out individuals that impressed Jesus with their faith. Because I was thinking about that this morning as I was getting ready to write down notes and stuff like that. I was thinking about all the individuals that Jesus kind of commended their faith. Like that lady with the issue of blood, or the centurion that was like, hey, you ain't even got to be there I already know that you can just say the word and it's going to happen. That type of thing. Like, so all of those different types of accounts are in the Go Deeper section, and you guys can peruse those things, let them marinate on your heart, souls, and mind. And I guess seek the Lord about whether you measure up or not to that level of faith that those people have. But let's get into this, y'all. So one of the first things I felt led to do this morning is look up the word crazy. I looked up the definition, and this is what it says: mentally deranged, especially as manifested in a wild or aggressive way. So when it comes to other people looking at like believers or me or whatever the case may be, I believe that that's the type of crazy that they think of when they're like, man, you crazy to believe. You're crazy to, read that Bible or whatever the case may be. Right. But I more so resonate with the second definition I came across. And that says extremely enthusiastic. That's the crazy that I resonate with when it comes to, again, having crazy faith. Because, again, I mean, even as I talk to my therapist and all this other stuff, I mean, sometimes, again, like I said, I feel crazy. I feel like the first definition, because it's like, I mean, I know there's other people that believe too, and I know I'm like the only one, stuff like that. So I don't feel crazy in that regard. But then, because all of us have our different interpretations, and then even though there's all of us that claim to be believers, then some don't agree, and then some are going back and forth about basic stuff, and, and then I'm like, man, I feel crazy because I'm over here reading one thing, and it's like, you got a totally different thing. Like, it can go deep, this idea of crazy. Just the belief alone, and then the debate between what we think, and all this different type of stuff. So, which side are you on the crazy factor, right? Are you one of those that are like pointing at people like me and saying, "Hey, you crazy," or are you somebody that's like, you know what, I can resonate with that miracle? You know, I feel crazy too sometimes. Because I mean, again, as somebody that I could sit here and say, at the end of the day, I know I have not seen any of the miraculous things that the Bible describes beyond, you know, again, the blessings and miracles and things that have happened in my own life, and stuff like that. And so, but even without those things, I mean, I kind of resonate with that song. You know, you can't make me doubt him. I know too much about him. At this point, he done did too much for me to sit here and, you know, I guess go backwards and be like, oh, there's no God. You know what I mean? I don't think I could ever go there, with my belief or whatever case may be. But anyway, I'm just wondering, like, where you are, right? Like, how is this resonating with you today? Let's get into some verses, y'all. Crazy faith, okay? So, Hebrews 11:1. It says, "Now faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen." I know we can go all day, every day, in debate, right? People, a lot of times they like to say, "Ooh, science disproves, you know, that Bible X, Y, and Z." Now, I think my personal opinion is science and what the Bible says go hand in hand a lot of times, because science is trying to understand the things of God, the things that are explained in the Bible. Now, whether they want to like agree with what it says until they come to the point where they say some stuff that ultimately does agree with it, you know, it's just one of those things to think about. But a lot of times, again, we are walking by faith. It's things unseen. And I think as I was going deeper with studying some of this, and again, yes, having conversations with the AI and things of that nature, right? Over the years, I think at some point I came across something that pretty much was explaining again that everything isn't about like trying to prove it. You know what I mean? I think everybody wants you know, they say this all the time, prove it, prove it, prove it. And there's a lot of things that can be proved that like that the Bible has to say. Like, I mean, the locations, the, you know, people, and then you seeing their graves, or you seeing, you know, coins that have the people on it, you know, all these different type of things, right? That can be quote unquote proof, and people go through life either trying to prove or disprove. But beyond the evidence, right, of things that the Bible has to say, ultimately it has to be within. You have to believe, you have to have faith, right? You have to have that crazy type of faith, that faith that, again, I haven't seen. I can sit here today and say, hey, I have not seen, but I believe. You know, no, I have not seen a physical, you know, manifestation of God. But I know what I felt. Like I said, at times I may have heard, and based on those things, as well as the, again, miraculous things that have happened in my life, I believe. Now, I mean, again, there's different accounts of different levels of belief and things like that. I was reminded right now about Doubting Thomas, right? And how Jesus was like, hey, go ahead and put your, you know, if you got to touch it to believe, go ahead. But he also said, blessed are those that have not seen and believe. So I feel like, you know, I qualify for that category. I have not seen. I can sit here and say today. Now, there are people that say they have seen, you know, spiritual things or whatever the case may be. Maybe they did, you know, shrooms or something, whatever the case may be, or maybe they prayed and they actually, you know, God manifested himself in some way, or whatever the case may be. And I'm not taking anything away from their testimonies, because at the end of the day, you know, I have not experienced that yet. Who knows if the Lord wants to experience that or not, or wants me to experience those things or not. But regardless, right, like I said, I mean, I'm at the point where I'm like, hey, too much has been, you know, I've been too blessed, you know, to go backwards and things of that nature. So, but that's me. Where are you, man? Do you have to see to believe, or can you just be like this says, and you know, have the conviction of things not seen, you know, the assurance of things hoped for. So then Hebrews 11:6, it says, and without faith it is impossible to please him, for whoever would draw near to God must believe that he exists and that he rewards those who seek him. So again, radical or crazy faith to again believe in this unseen God. I get it. I get it. You know, it can be very, very difficult. I know a lot of times I'm like, Lord, look, especially in my single days, y'all already know, man. I know y'all tired of me talking about it, but I guess this part of my testimony, I gotta continue to share about the cultivation period, obviously. But I mean, in that particular time, I really, really was seeking the Lord about, again, not just again being married, but it also was like, okay, Lord, I know it's like you want me to be closer to you, and you want me to spend time with you, and you want me to have these intimate moments with you, or whatever the case may be. But I'm like, but I want a man. You can't hug me. You can't do all the things that I need. X, Y, and Z, and it's still that way as a married woman. But we can talk about that another time. But I feel like now I'm going deeper about that. Matter of fact, my like I said, I talked to my therapist yesterday or whatever the case may be, and I don't feel like we got a chance to talk about everything that I really, really wanted to talk about. And so I sent her an email, and in her email she was like saying that, hey, you know, those are some great questions or some great statements or things that you're posing to the situations, and we're talking about, you know, ways that I can experience the intimacy that I'm quote unquote lacking. And again, we're gonna talk about this in the future, y'all. So don't worry about it. And don't worry about me and my marriage. We good. I'm just trying to make sure I'm good. You know what I'm saying? And I'm healed. And I'm, you know what I mean, learning and growing. Because, you know, again, if y'all get my book, y'all will see more details about like where I'm at or where I have been. And so my thing is like wanting to make sure that I'm not having unrealistic expectations of my husband and things of that nature. And again, trying to fill God's void with him or anything else. So that's what I'm referring to. But anyway, but she was saying, so intimacy or whatever the case may be, because, and I'm like, that's a great question. I have no clue. Because again, I do feel like, again, you're going to forever have issues if you're sitting here thinking that you can fill in God's void with anything else. Oh, wow. Okay, well, to God be the glory. It seems like someone named Renee is really resonating with some of the things. So, to God be the glory for that and stuff. And I've been there, and it's hard, but I hope you're encouraged and inspired by the things I'm sharing. But yeah, you know, and like I said, it can be very, very difficult. But I feel like, again, now at this place that I am in my life, God is calling me to, I guess, deeper intimacy with him. And I'm trying to figure out what that looks like. Because I'm like, well, Lord, you know, I'm already taking daily time. You know what I'm saying? I'm already studying and praying every day. Like, I mean, what else? How else can, you know what I mean? Because you're not physically here. So how can I experience, like, the intimacy? You know, so I'm still praying and you know, seeking the Lord about about that myself. But yeah, so I'm on this journey as well, and so you're not alone, Sister Renee, and yeah, man, anybody else listening to the sound of my voice, like, don't be discouraged by these things. Matter of fact, just, I guess, seek the Lord about what this looks like and means. But yeah, first we got to believe he exists, right? We can't have faith or anything unless we believe that God is there. And then it says here again, it wraps up by saying, believing that he'll reward those that seek him. So as I seek the Lord, I do expect some rewards, man. You know, I expect that all, you know, will work together for my good, like the Bible tells us. Like, you know, I'm expecting, you know, great things. Matter of fact, again, with all the things I've been going through lately and the ups and downs and all the spiritual attacks and whatnot, I mean, I feel like I got some confirmation this morning that, hey, again, hold on and don't give up at X, Y, and Z. And all these things will make sense at a later time. Just like, again, all the things I experienced in my single days makes all the sense now and stuff like that. And so, you know, Jesus just things to think about. But first things first, man, get that I guess belief in God part right. Here's the last verse that I felt led to write down this morning. And again, it's a very familiar verse, but here it is. 2 Corinthians 5:7. It says, for we walk by faith and not by sight. Again, in this world that tells us to prove it all the time. And don't get me wrong, man. I go deeper every now and then. I'll be like, okay, but let me, you know, make sure. Because, I mean, with everything you hear and see in this world, man, it's so easy to get caught up or doubt, right, what the Bible has to say. So I'm like, well, Lord, give me some confirmation. You know what I mean? I know we shouldn't be asking for signs of confirmation. I know that. But my thing is we need to be communicating with the Lord. And so as I lay things before the Lord, I do go deeper about, like, let me look into these locations that are mentioned in the Bible. Let me look into these people that are mentioned in the Bible. Let me look into, you know, the things that I say that I believe. Because at the end of the day, you know, you can proclaim to believe something all day long. But again, how long did it take me to start doing daily Bible study? Y'all know I started, well, not to say I didn't do daily Bible study, but to the level that I'm doing now that I'm sharing. You see what I'm saying? I didn't start this to April 1st, 2020. Y'all already know, right? And so, but between then and my birthday back in 86, I mean, look how much time it took to be obedient to the Lord and do what he said do, which was, hey, you need to study more. Hey, you need to pray more. Not knowing that all of this was hanging in the balance, not knowing that I was going to end up, talking to Renee today, what I'm saying? Whatever the case may be. And so, again, this is just things to think about, y'all, at the end of the day. And, it's okay to have crazy faith. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I think God wants us to have that. He wants us to seek him. He wants us to, do our best to get to know him in our earthly state. So then that way when we're in his presence, who knows? I mean, obviously we'll know everything at that point, I believe. But, again, there's nothing wrong with asking questions. There's nothing wrong with, being sure, making sure, I would love one day to go to the Holy Land and look, walk the locations, you know what I'm saying? Things I've only read and seen, all of these things I think is going to matter. Like, so again, like I was saying, in this world that a lot of people are saying, prove it, and things like that. We got to remember that it's not about proving any of the things. It's about walking by faith. It's about believing, and it's about, I guess trusting him at the end of the day. And I guess that's ultimately the juice, y'all. That's the juice this morning. Now the Bible verse of today is 2 Timothy 3:16 and 17. It says, all scripture is God-breathed and is useful for teaching, rebuking, correcting, and training in righteousness, so that the servant of God may be thoroughly equipped for every good work. Friends, I hope you all enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. I pray you guys go forth and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Bye-bye. Did you know that you can support us for just 99 cents a month? That's right, friends. You can support everything that we do here at GSL for just 99 cents a month. Take a look around wherever this post is. You might see a link or maybe even a button that says support. Go there, check out the options, consider supporting us because, we enjoy bringing you all the daily inspiration as well as the weekly talk show, but we have much, much more to come. Thank you so much for the consideration. Bye-bye.